After the quick unboxing, first thing first, let's see how this laptop feels in a hand. And yeah, to me it feels pretty light, definitely lighter than MacBook Pro 16. And the one thing is I'm noticing, as you can see on a camera, there are a lot of fingerprints that this device is attracting. They disappear, but yeah, the fingerprints can be a problem, definitely more than the MacBook Pro. Now, as far as the ports are concerned, on the right hand side you have a microSD card. Not really happy with the choice of microSD card. It would have been nice if it was a normal standard SD card. This is a USB-A 3.2 3.5 mm headphone mic combo jack. On the left hand side there are two Thunderbolt 4 ports, USB-C ports. These are the ones, one of these ones you can use for charging. There is no proprietary charging port like a MagSafe on MacBook Pro. This is HDMI. Unfortunately, this is HDMI 2 port, not 2.1, so only can push 60 frames per second on the external monitors, compared to the, if you have 2.1, then it can push more frames per second. The feel, it feels very similar to Intel MacBook Pro, you know, the last one we had in 2019 or 2020, the Intel one. The edges are chiseled like that. At the bottom there are 4 rubber feet, so when you unbox this laptop, make sure you take the plastic stickers which are on the feet, otherwise I was having problem that it was very slippery. So that's the first thing you need to do. Now this is for the air intake, this area, and these are the speaker grills. So no more speakers like a MacBook Pro on the top. We'll compare with the MacBook Pro later on. So these are the speaker grills, and for the air vents, this is the whole part. This is air vent as well. So that's pretty much it. At the bottom of the laptop, as you can see, there are a lot of fingerprints by the way on the laptop. This is the only color available in the Book 3 Ultra. This is like a graphite kind of a color, dark gray you can say. And let's open the laptop. Let's see if it does pass the one hand opening test. So it does. Okay, stickers, I don't like the placements of the sticker. I don't like the stickers at all. So I've been using the laptop, as you can see the fingerprint mark on the keyboard as well. So the one thing you must have noticed as well is the wobble on the screen. So you can see there's quite a lot of wobble on the screen, which I don't like. It should not be a big concern, because I didn't really find it very annoying in day-to-day regular use. But if you use a laptop while commuting on a train or a bus or something like that, then this can cause an issue. So as far as the keyboard, this is a full-size keyboard, not like the MacBook Pro. So you got a numpad here, and then there's a regular keyboard here. The one thing to notice that the keys on the regular keyboard, they are a bit larger compared to the number keys. So number keys are quite a bit smaller, which I don't really like, because when you are typing, and the people who use regularly both these keys together, they will find it a bit awkward when you jump from a regular size keys to the smaller keys. The feel is a bit different. Otherwise the keyboard is nice. Is not as good as MacBook Pro. Again, I'm mentioning MacBook Pro because this laptop is competing directly against the MacBook Pro 16. The trackpad is a good size trackpad, but responsiveness is not as good as a MacBook Pro. But it's when you just compare with the other Windows laptop, I think this is excellent. Other than that, it's a backlit keyboard. The lighting is good enough, and the typing is good enough as well. The only thing is the key travel is not that much, and you'll feel that keys are a bit springy. So that's a thing to note, they are a bit springy. Otherwise it's not bad. It's quite a decent keyboard, and I don't have any problem typing long notes or essays or anything, articles on this keyboard. Let's compare this with the MacBook Pro 16. So as far as the thickness is concerned, they're exactly the same height. There's no difference at all between them. The width is exactly the same. The height, width and the depth, all three dimensions are exactly the same. Weight wise, definitely the Samsung feels quite a bit lighter. I haven't checked the numbers on their website, but if you're curious you can go and check it. But to me the Samsung feels good 300 grams 400 grams lighter compared to the MacBook Pro. The build quality, to me MacBook Pro is very nicely built, but the Samsung feels more solid. It feels more dense, even though it's lighter. But because the edges are chiseled, as you can see, they are not like MacBook Pro. Let me just hold this one as well so you can see them better. So as you can see, it feels thinner, even though they are exactly the same height. It feels thinner, it feels more solidly built. So build quality, I will definitely give it to Samsung. Again, it's not a big difference, but the way it feels, if you give these two laptops to somebody who doesn't know anything about Apple or Samsung and ask him to choose just by the physical appearance, I think they will go for the Samsung. So Apple doesn't have the number keys, so the keyboard is right in the middle. So you have speaker grills on both sides. And one thing I can confirm, that the audio quality is a bit better on MacBook Pro. Samsung is not bad, which I will cover in later in full depth comparison between these two laptops in my next video. But just beforehand I can tell you by using them that the speakers on MacBook Pro, they are have a bit more punch in the sound. There's more bass. So I was talking about the keyboard. The trackpad is right in the middle of keyboard. You're not going to believe it. The Samsung, as you can see in the video, the Samsung's trackpad is even bigger than the MacBook Pro trackpad. And so because this trackpad is right in the middle of the keyboard, so your movement and the way you use is very natural. It doesn't cause you any issues. The trackpad on a Samsung, I'm not saying it's bad, but it is placed right in the middle of the regular keyboard. But if you consider the number keys as well, this trackpad is pushed towards the left, and sometimes you do accidentally make some clicks which you don't really want to, and it does happen because the positioning of the trackpad is not in the middle of the laptop, but it is actually in the middle of regular keyboard. So if you ignore the number keys, this trackpad is right in the middle of the regular keyboard. So but when you consider the full keyboard, it's pushed towards the left. Let's do the hinge test. So as you can see, I'm gonna push them down and I'm gonna leave them there. You see the Samsung hinge, it has more kind of a movement when you let the hinge go. So again, you need to consider that the way you use your laptop, that if this laptop is for you or not. For me, it's not a big deal. I normally use the laptop on a desk, so it's no movement, so I'm fine with that. Next thing I would like to share with you guys is that the screen quality. I am a video editor, I am the photo editor, so the screen does matter to me a lot. First thing, there are a lot of people who are complaining about that the Samsung screen is very reflective. I don't think so. That's a big issue because the colors are so punchy. The brightness is very good on this screen. So for me, it's not causing major issues. For me, it's not a problem at all. My problem with this screen is it's a 8-bit panel compared to Apple's MacBook Pro. This is a 10-bit panel, so you have a more color range when you're especially doing the video editing and the color editing. Most of the modern cameras, they do record 4K videos or 8K videos in 10-bit codec. So editing that 10-bit file on a 8-bit panel, it's not really bad because the color accuracy is brilliant on this one. And if you're using your scopes and if you're using your waveform, you shouldn't have any issues. But still, I think the MacBook Pro's display is much better when it comes to the creative work. Other than that, for watching movies, playing games, 100 out of 100 times the Samsung OLED panel is much better. The colors are very vibrant. The screen has 120 hertz. It's a 120 hertz screen, same like this. So colors are very vibrant. You have a lot of profiles to choose from. You give you the, which I will cover in my in-depth review. I will compare both these screens in depth, and when I'm talking about the color 8-bit and 10-bit panel, I will show you what does it means and where you can have issues editing your work on an 8-bit panel. But otherwise, for watching movies, content consumption, playing games, this is an excellent display. I really like it. It's an excellent display, apart from, again, the creative work. So before I talk about the performance, let me tell you the specs on this laptop. Unfortunately in the UK we cannot have 32 GB RAM version. It's only a 16 GB RAM version. This is the higher spec model i9 processor. So this i9 is a 13900H processor. There's a i7 version as well. That i7 version comes with RTX 4050. This higher spec version comes with RTX 4070. So as far as the performance is concerned, the only problem I'm having is with the 16 GB RAM. This RAM really limits you when you are doing 4K editing, and if you are doing a lot of color correction, you are doing 3-4 different, you are dealing with the 3-4 different camera videos, and there is a lot of effects and other things involved in that you adding to your editing, then there you should be facing a slowdown. So I use DaVinci Resolve for my video editing work, and on the MacBook 16 Pro Max with an M1 processor, it has a 32 core GPU. I don't have any issues at all. It has a 32 GB RAM as well, but that RAM is shared between the processor, the GPU and everything. But because the system on a chip is so great that I don't face any slowdowns at all. It doesn't matter how loaded my screen is with the effects or color correction or anything. But because on a Windows laptop, 16 GB RAM, I think if you're doing just a color correction and just trimming the video, 4K video, it shouldn't be any issue. You should be good enough with this one. 1080p. It's a solid laptop. You can edit whatever you want. Doesn't matter how many titles and other things you're using in your editing. But when you're doing the 4K video and you are using a lot of effects, and you are using a lot of transitions and color editing, and you're playing with 3-4 cameras videos, then there is a problem. And that problem on this laptop is not because the processor, not because of the GPU, your graphic card, which is RTX 4070. It is because of the RAM. The RAM is a limiting factor. It is a very stupid decision by Samsung, I will say, that putting a high-end CPU, medium to high-end GPU in this laptop, and only giving us 16 GB RAM in UK. And the problem is you cannot upgrade the RAM by yourself as well. It is sorted on the motherboard, so that's a big issue. Now, why Samsung does this, I don't really understand. Region-wise in America, you can choose 16 GB or 32 GB RAM. You have an option to choose RTX 4070, RTX 4050. With i7, even with i9, i7, you have all the options available. In Canada, I've seen few videos, there is no i9 version with RTX 4070 available. It's only i7 with RTX 4050 available. That's really stupid from Samsung, and they can't even upgrade their RAM as well. So if you are publicizing this laptop as a creative laptop, and that's really, again, I'm using this word, but I can't find better word than this one, that you are limiting this laptop just by giving 16 GB RAM. Why are you doing that? And Samsung, they do manufacture their own RAM as well. I don't understand why they have done it. Why there is, and most likely because of that reason, I might end up returning this laptop. Because when it comes to the 4K editing, and there are a lot of transitions and effects, the laptop does get slowed down. I will share that in my full review. We'll edit the same video file on both these laptops, and you'll see that what I'm saying. Second thing, on a battery, the performance is not as good as when it is plugged in. So when it's plugged in, you get really good performance, but when it is on a battery, the performance drops by 40% in my experience, 40-45%. But on a MacBook Pro, you get full performance, whether it is connected to the mains or it's you're using it on a battery power. When it comes to the battery power, it comes with Samsung comes with a USB-C charger. So this is a 100-watt charger, and according to Samsung, it supplies 35 watt to the processor and for 65 watt to the GPU. So when the GPU is using a less power, then obviously the more power can go to the processor. But so the cable, I don't like the cable. This Apple's cable is much better. It's a braided cable. So this is basically the Apple's charger. You can see the Samsung one is quite a bit smaller. You can see it's a bit smaller, and you can charge your phone and everything. It's a 100-watt charger again. So no complaints here other than the cable. I think they should have provided us with a better cable like a Apple one. And other than that, fan noise. Okay, the fan noise is not extreme on this laptop unless you are playing a very demanding game. I was playing Witcher 3 on this laptop. It is playable. It's quite loud at that time, but regularly in normal things, when you're using, even when you're doing the video editing as well, unless it's rendering the video, the fans are not very loud. And to get the max performance, I will discuss that again in detail in my full review. But you need to optimize the power thing in a Samsung settings and in the Windows setting as well. So keep that in mind. So if you're thinking that you're going to get the best performance just by optimizing the Windows power settings, you will not get that, especially in games. You need to go in a Samsung settings and you need to optimize the performance there as well. So that's the one thing you need to note, and it can get confusing sometimes. You got two settings, you got Samsung settings, and then you have a Windows setting as well. So again, screen 3K screen, very nice for videos, watching videos, playing games. Keyboard, I'm happy. Overall build quality, I think, is slightly, other than the keyboard, slightly superior than Apple's. It's very dense, very nice looking laptop. Only issue I am having is with the 16 GB RAM. And if this laptop has an option in UK to get 32 or more RAM, I think I would have preferred this laptop over my MacBook Pro. The reason behind it, this laptop will be then all-in-one solution for your video editing, photo editing, games, watching multimedia, creative work consumption, watching movies, whatever. When it comes to Mac, it is very nice, but the problem is only in gaming. This laptop is limiting because of the operating system. Not many games they support Mac OS, and that's a problem. This laptop is very good for creative work. The screen is very nice, and you can do all kind of editing on this machine. But the problem is when it comes to gaming, you can't play many titles on this laptop. This would have been all-in-one solution, even though the performance is not as good as MacBook Pro on a battery. But the thing is that all-in-one thing, if you consider that you can play any game on this thing, if they would have given 32 GB or more RAM in this laptop in UK, this laptop would have been my go-to laptop. At the moment, I'm still kind of 50-50. Will I keep this laptop or will I send it back? Most likely I will send it back because of the 16 GB RAM limitations. So that's it for today. I will make separate videos on the gaming performance, on the creative work performance on this laptop. So if you guys want to know in depth something, please do let me know, and I'll update that video very soon on my channel. So take care for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.